explain here as a candidate basically what's been happening. You know, we've got multiple elections fraud, not just fraud, but we have insurrection, rebellion, and invasion all affecting my campaign, multiple election periods. So I'm getting blacklisted by Julie Sue because she stole the money and she gave it to a bunch of people, over $30 billion to other people who weren't even citizens, as she stole money that belonged to me, a candidate running for office, stranding an entire fleet, 34 vehicles, end up getting violently attacked, mass dereliction of duty. So I want people to understand what they're missing. Here, listen to this recording.
Thank you. My second question, which is, during your last 2 years at the department, the public calendar shows that you had a standing meeting with unions on a regular basis. But until 6 weeks ago, you not met with any business associations. Unions on a regular basis, but not with business associations. I guess it's really hard to understand how, when we think about putting two groups together and getting to the compromise and negotiating, how we can have any confidence that you'd be seen as an unbiased, neutral arbiter, but instead would be biased in such a way that businesses associations are not going to be able to trust the Department of Labor to play a meaningful role. But of greater concern to me is your record in California. And this is something I've raised with you before, but the fact that under your lead, unemployment insurance payments in California of some $31 billion went to people who were basically receiving money on a criminal basis, illegally receiving money from the federal government. $31 billion. That's about as much as we provided in military aid to Ukraine. That's almost twice the total budget of the Department of Labor. Under your leadership in California, $31 billion was fraudulently paid out. Now there's a principle in all sorts of enterprises known as the Peter principle, which is people get promoted to a point where their competence is no longer been established. In this case, your record there is so severely lacking. I don't know how in the world it makes sense for the president to nominate you to take over this department. To work behind Marty Walsh is one thing, and to learn from him, but you haven't had experience negotiating a major deal between unions and management. And your leadership of an enterprise resulted in $31 billion of fraudulent payments. What am I missing?
So